Welcome everyone. Today I went ahead and installed my RideController RC4 module on my RAM here, and also wired up my Stealth Control Performance module to the actual ride controller. So let's go over here and take a look at my ride controller. Now, install location, of course, that kind of depends on your personal preference. A little bit of light in here. But I went ahead and installed mine in my center console. Please excuse my mess in here. But this is the actual ride controller unit itself. So I just put some double-sided Velcro in here so I can easily just remove it if I want to change the wiring up or add anything like that. But this thing is really cool, super easy install. 12-volt constant power, a ground, and then all of your accessories is how I wired this up. Excuse me. So a lot of you, I would say diesel owner guys, you're pretty familiar with, or at least have heard of, selectable shift on the fly tuning, whether it's called a CSP4 or a CSP5, or even if you're a Stealth Performance customer and you have a selectable module with desired power settings. Now what I have done is I've actually wired up my Stealth module, or my power selector switch, whatever you want to call it, into the ride control module. What this is going to allow me to do, allows me to change my power settings through my phone or smart device instead of using a switch. Now this is really, really good because this doesn't matter what vehicle you're using it on. You know, there's tuners out there that you can only do that specifically through the tuner, only on GM vehicles or only on Fords or whatever. So by integrating the ride controller through the wiring, you can do it on anything. It doesn't matter. You can have true shift on the fly smartphone tuning with a ride controller. So the wiring is kind of specific to your vehicle platform. So with the Cummins, what I did is you pull your switch out and you have your common wire, which is the center wire on your switch. And then you either have 4 or 5 wires around the perimeter of the switch, and those are going to be your selecting mode switches, or you're selecting your power wire switches. Now, specifically to the Cummins itself and its Stealth Performance module, a open circuit to the module, which if you pull your wiring harness apart and you look at it where your selector switch is, if that center wire isn't hooked to anything, that is your high power setting. Now normally I bounce between medium power and high power, so all I had to do was hook up 2 wires from my module. And now with my phone, I can actually select whether I want to be in medium power mode or I want to be in high power mode. And I did that by using the black wire, which is your center common wire, and then the yellow wire, which is the medium power selector wire. Again, Power Stroke, Duramax, you're kind of specific there. If you have any questions about what wires to use, if you're not sure, you can go ahead and get a hold of Eric at Stealth Performance and he'll kind of walk you through it. But this is kind of the first time that we've ever done this, and I've really never seen any other vehicles around that, at least in the diesel market, that have this kind of technology, at least adapted to tuners. So it doesn't matter if you're deleted with, you know, whatever tuning platform you selected and it has a selector switch, you can do the same. Now with mine, I also went ahead and I hooked up my rock lights and then my air horn activation. So through my phone, I have the ability to turn my rock lights on. So here's the app right here. The cool thing about this app is this app and your device can only be connected to, you know, each other. Whereas you have a lot of, I would say, you know, your Chinese, your eBay kind of rock lights, halos, whatever, where everybody has the same, you know, controller or the same couple controllers. So if you go to a vehicle show, off-road show or something like that, and somebody turns their rock lights on or the light bars on or whatever, you'll notice there's always like 1 or 2 other vehicles that you're changing the color of their lights as well along with yours. With this ride controller, you will not do that. This ride controller is specifically Bluetooth through a MAC address to your phone through a secured pin. So nobody can even connect to this unless they have the ride controller app installed and they know your pin to actually get into it. So there's very little vulnerabilities, I would say less chance of vulnerabilities, with somebody actually turning your stuff up and on or manipulating your ride controller. So it's very easy to use. So I have, since this is the RC4, I have 4 buttons here. Now each button, so there's an on and off for, say, like my rock lights. Boom, I just turned them on. I turn them back off. The red button is for a momentary switch. So under your settings, after you set up all your, whatever your switch names want to be, it has a checkbox for momentary. So I just clicked momentary, and now I can use my air horn. Just like that. This has a pretty decent distance. I haven't tested it out over, you know, the maximum distance I can get away from the vehicle with this. But I still think it's pretty cool. Again, any electrical device that you can possibly think of, you can connect through this RC4 ride controller module. Now, if this is something you want a little bit more functionality out of this, you want to be able to integrate with the CAN bus system in your vehicle, factory upfitter switches or whatnot, their RC8 module can do that, and there's also additional wiring harnesses and adapters and all kinds of other cool stuff. Now, just because I hooked in, you know, my rock lights or my air horn to this module, like, oh, well, you know, you lost your factory switches. I didn't. I left my factory switches installed that I've already, you know, previously installed in the vehicle, so I don't actually have to have my phone up. Say if I'm for driver controls, I'm driving and, you know, I want to turn my lights on, or, you know, or I want to use my horn or whatever, I can still use the switch that I installed, as well as I can use the ride controller along with that. So hopefully there we go. So here's what my wiring looks like. Again, each 3 sets of screws is a relay. So this is relay 1, 2, 3, and 4, of course. Your center wire, or your center screw, is your common wire. And then to the left is what you're going to switch to turn on. So just like a regular relay will work, or like a switch will work, you know, this is for my stealth module. So if I go in my app setting and I click stealth medium, boom, it'll make a connection between this wire and this wire here, essentially turning it on. Same thing for, this is my my air horn. So power coming into the relay, boom, coming out, hit that, makes the connection, sets the horn off, and then so on and so forth. Now the other wire, this has power coming into it. This screw here also has dedicated power on it. So what this is going to allow you to do is, say if you have a flash module, or you have some sort of device on your vehicle that needs to change a setting, you need a loss of power, a momentary loss of power, or you want to kill power to it. That's what that screw is for. So you'll hook whatever component you want to up to that screw, and then by clicking the button in your app, that essentially turns off that component. Or if you use a momentary switch, if you have strobe lights, or you're changing colors on your halos, or you're something whatever like that, you use that momentary function to momentarily kill power to that device, which essentially changes that device's the color or the flash setting or whatever it may be. So if you're interested in a ride controller for your own vehicle, go to their website, RideController.com. They've got an Instagram. You can check them out there. If you have any questions or anything like that with the module or how it works, shoot those guys an email or a message. They respond pretty quickly. They're very knowledgeable. If you haven't checked out already Stealth Performance Modules, go ahead and go to their website, stealthmodules.com. So that'll take care of your warranty safe, emission safe diesel tuning, you know, without destroying your transmission or anything like that. Increased auto response, better fuel economy, DEF usage, you know, things like that nature. So hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day.